Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Teti and I'm a knitwear designer. On this channel, I talk about knitting, my designs, and all the creative processes around my work. I also talk about Ukraine, my heritage, and many other things. I'm recording this episode primarily for my Patreon and YouTube channel members who will get a primary access. So if you'd like to stay up to date, please consider joining me on Patreon or as a member of my YouTube channel. If you're watching this at a later date, please subscribe and enjoy the episode. Hi everyone, and thank you for choosing to spend a bit of time with me here today. I've been away during the November and December months. We've been again to France, spent some time in a cottage without neighbors, the noise, and just a bit of countryside, slowing down and having more time for little projects that I wanted to do for a really long time, but never had the space and the time to do them here in the city. So that's been very nice. Now I'm back and reunited with my stash and looking forward to working on new things and sharing more. So let's start with the first little project that I had, and that was dyeing a belt. The belt that I'm wearing right now. Let me tell you its story. I ordered this belt in Ukraine, and it's sort of hand woven, hand braided from 100% wool, and then you can choose what kind of tassels you want. And I could have made it myself, but I thought it would be nice to have it done and not just put it on a list of things that I want to do and never do. So I wanted a belt, and I ordered it to be made in a color that was matching my necklaces, the clay necklaces that I have, which I wear with my embroidered blouses and like costume wear. So it was supposed to be like terracotta, warm brick color, but when the belt arrived, it was much brighter, more into a cooler shade, and in a very strange color, which on its own very nice, but it didn't fit into any of my wardrobe, existing wardrobe. So I was like, no, I have to over dye it, and I didn't know what kind of dye they used for the yarn. Either it was dyed industrially, or did they dye it especially for me with acidic dyes, or I had no idea. And I approached Studio Solas, Vera, who's the owner of it. I approached her asking if she would be able to over dye it with natural dyes, because I was hoping that it could be saved that way. So I sent her the belt, but unfortunately she tried with different baths and different treatments. Nothing stuck to it. So she sent it back to me, and I went online and I got some of it was a chestnut brown acidic dye that I was hoping to over dye the pink one and get some sort of brown. That was the idea. I couldn't find a good tool online to see how the colors, the overlay would work. So if you know of such tool, that would be very useful. I took a chance with it. I was very happy with the way the color turned out. It turned out this beautiful dark wine sort of. I'm going to show you this. There are some spots that are more uneven, and probably from all the attempts to dye and treat it with different things. So I have a bit of patches and spots here and there, but it doesn't bother me. Like, you don't see it on a 3-meter long belt. It's just somewhere always hidden in the wraps. So yeah, it was a very interesting experience, and I used this opportunity when I had the dye bath to dye everything I had in the house that was sort of meh, and I wanted to be something different. So I had 2 skeins of cotton yarn that we brought from our honeymoon in Marrakesh. That was God knows how many years ago, and I had this cotton just in my stash for something, I don't know, definitely not a garment, but it was lying there, and I knew that I want to dye it into some sort of color and use for something more like interior piece, or I don't know, woven, something like that. So I dyed those 2 skeins, and then I had a linen shirt that I could play with and see how, just to use to use up the dye. Overall, a very happy experience. And this is the kind of project that I couldn't have done inside the apartment, where all the walls are white and there's just no room for mistake with the dye when it splashes everywhere, and yeah, just no, not possible. So it was very nice to be outside in the grass and be able to dry it. Yeah, very nice. So this has been like a tiny introduction to where we're going next. Why I started with all the story is because our collaboration with Vera from Studio Solas didn't stop there. So she's a dyer, a local to me dyer. She lives in the Netherlands, and she has a tiny little shop that specializes in local yarns, and she naturally dyes them. And yeah, I wanted to use some of her yarns. I saw these beautiful colors that she made, like this, sort of burgundy, yeah, burgundy brown, like very deep, and I wanted to use that for some of my designs. And she was very kind to send me a few skeins to play with, and that's how the next design was born. Because I had these 2 colors. This is how the yarn looked like. This is organic sock. It's 100% merino, but it's like very rustic, and I really liked the depth of the color, and I thought that it would be nice to have something like that, like rustic and sturdy for the countryside. I really wanted to be warm, staying in a stone cottage, and I wanted to have my the main body covered, like, so I was thinking about the vest with a higher neck, with a mock neck or turtleneck, and I had this as a contrasting color. This one is called Barn, and this one is called Old Pink or something like that. So it's a very also melange sort of color, very earthy and rustic. They go very well together. As you can see, I'm a bit of in this burgundy pink phase where, yeah, I find myself very comfortable, and I wanted to use this too in a way that there was a more graphic pattern that I could use, cover bigger parts of the garment with this color and have like a strong contrast, and at the same time not to be too much of the color work. So it had to be like easy, quick, but also graphic and beautiful. So I went back to what I did last year, and at this time last year in January 2024 I released my Polina pullover. If you remember, it's this one, and it uses this very graphic pattern of this flowers with big leaves. It is inspired by the art of Polina. It's a Ukrainian artist who draw beautiful ornaments on her, like all her house was covered with drawings of flowers and birds, and animals, and in a very naive and very primitive way, but she made herself famous by just doing her thing and being very real in what she was doing. So through her own life and experiences, she ended up alone in a house where everything, well, except of the floor, was covered with paintings. So the ceiling, all the walls, like outside the walls, and the I don't know, the gates of the house, she covered with paintings. And since her house was destroyed in 2023 with the flood caused by the destruction of the dam, I sort of wanted to speak about it a bit more, and I used her work as an inspiration for this design. So Polina that's why it's her name, that's why I called Polina pullover, and now I will show you Polina vest. So I used this same pattern for the vest, just slightly adapted it to there's lots of hairs, but it doesn't matter. So there's some white hairs on it, but never mind. So I used this one. It's the same two leaves, but the flower is a little bit different. It's more graphic now, with like more outlined the edges, and then you have more of the, I don't know, the insides, the contents of the flower, more sort of graphic. And I used it at the bottom of the vest, and that's how the vest looks like. It has an A-line shape, so you start wider where the color work is, and then while you work the color work, you decrease a little bit towards the waist and the bust, and then you have like a more fitted top of the vest with an English tailored shoulder, which I learned the name means that you have the seam on the back of your shoulder, not right on the top, but just slightly on the back, so your front part will be longer than the back sides of the shoulders, and then you seam them there, and then you have a nice mock neck, which can go as long as you like, or you can just fold it double and have a bit of a thicker lower neck, or knit it longer and have it rolled for a turtleneck. And there we have the armholes, which have some ribbing. The ribbing is also shaped with short rows here, so you have a little bit of a shoulder cap like that, so it's hanging over your shoulder. And in my sample I have it, it goes a bit over my shoulder, so it's not like a classic vest when you have like cut out armholes and it's like more till here, sort of, right? So this one goes a little bit to the sides, and then it's hanging over your shoulder. So I wouldn't call it a drop shoulder, but it's just like a slightly over your shoulder. But that can also be easily adjusted by continuing shaping. Where you start shaping here, you just continue shaping until you have the desired length of the shoulder here. So this is what it is. It is a very useful garment in my wardrobe. I spend a lot of time in it. It gives you the freedom, especially if you get hot and cold. It gives you the freedom of having a light underlayer and staying warm in your core. So this is something that I've been wearing this winter. And the pattern, of course, is beautiful, and I hope that you like it. And I've seen many beautiful versions done by the testers and the knitters already, so I'm excited to share this one with you. It has a beautiful story, it has a meaning to me, and it's just a very useful garment. It's not about something extravagant and extremely beautiful. It's just about something that has a story and also a practical use. And then since I was very cold, it's a stone cottage with only a fireplace, so there is no central heating, there is no underfloor heating, there is no proper isolation, insulation, what I mean. It's been very cold, and I learned that I didn't know what cold is before. So I wanted to make myself socks, but not like a normal ankle socks, the ones I wear here at home, a higher one, like the mid calf or like upper calf sort of sock. And since I had this yarn, and it was a sock yarn originally, it's a DK weight, so it could work for like a very nice chunky sock, and that's what I wanted. I made myself a pair of Polina socks. So this is how they look like. You see, it has the same pattern as on the vest, and then I did the rest of the foot. I also did on this color work that's like the inside of the of the flower, for the sturdiness, to have like an extra thread there for like to be a double thread, right? So when you work color work, you have 2 threads, so it's twice as thick as if you just work it and stockinette. Yeah, it's a short row heel, so it's a very basic pattern. It's high. Well, on most people it would probably be mid-calf. For me it's a bit higher than mid-calf because I'm short, but it's very comfortable and very warm, so I could wear this and then rubber boots and go outside, and be very nicely warm. And I wasn't planning to release this as a pattern or anything. It was just a very selfish way to use the yarn leftovers and also to play a bit with the design, because here I have this leaves that are a bit different than on the vest, and it looks different on the side and on the front, so it's a very playful and beautiful design that I also enjoy very much. And I thought of thanking my Patreon members for the support during the last years, and I made it a Patreon exclusive pattern. So whoever is out there supporting me on Patreon, thank you so much, guys, ladies, mostly, and gentlemen. Thank you. And if you join me on Patreon, you can download the pattern for free at any time. So it's just out there, pinned on the page. And if you'd like to support me a bit more, you can have the pattern. It's a little token of gratitude. And then I came back here and I wanted to make another one. Since I was reunited with my stash, I felt like I could try this pattern in a little bit different yarn and maybe on a tighter gauge and on a lower version of the sock. So I would have like a low calf or just the shortest sock for everyday use in the apartment, or maybe next time somewhere where it's cold. And I used for this one I used Let Lopi. It's 2 shades of Let Lopi, and for the heels I used some mix of different yarns to make it more sturdy, for the heel and toe. So yeah, it works also really nice with Let Lopi. I never used it for socks. I don't know why, but they are very chunky, warm, and it feels like they would last. I will have to test that, but I don't see why not, honestly. So this is my second pair of Polina socks in Let Lopi. Yeah. So these are my most recent knits and releases. So the Polina vest is out already. These are available on Patreon. They're two sizes. It's more or less universal. It's how many? Oh, I don't remember. It's 72 stitches if I remember correctly, or 70 stitches. And then there is an extra size for 80 stitches or so, with slightly adapted pattern just in case you have to go size up. But with 72 stitches you can play with the gauge and get any size that you need. So they could have been also one size. It's not but I went extra mile just in case. So there are two sizes, and this one is because the pattern repeat is so big, there are 7 sizes, so not the normal 9 as I usually do. There's only 7 because because the pattern repeat is really big, and I wanted to still give you an opportunity to get as many intermediate sizes as possible, but also didn't see the point of going like to, I don't know, like really big size with so many repeats that nobody's gonna need anyway. So yeah, that's what it is. I am working on some other new things that I will show you in the next episode. In the meantime, I'm going to show you some footage from my stay in France. I did, with the yarn that I dyed, I made a lamp. It was very interesting experience, a very interesting experiment. It turned out, I think, beautiful. And what else did I do? I started embroidering a vest. I'm not sure if I like the shape of it yet, so maybe some extra cutting is gonna happen there, but I'm slowly working on it. Not right now, but it's one of the projects that I have on the side, and I hope to have more time for this kind of side projects, because usually knitting takes over everything else. And I've been also cutting some spoons. That's been carving some spoons. That's been also a new development of the last few months. It's very relaxing. It takes a lot of your concentration, but it also switches off my mind completely, and that's something I really enjoy while I do it. You just sit there and slowly carve, and if you've never tried it, I recommend. It's a very nice little hobby. So I think I'll wrap up here. I hope you liked it. I hope some of the things were interesting for you. I hope to see many of your knitting projects following my patterns. That's always the biggest compliment. And one last thing for my Ukrainian speaking followers. Любі друзі, якщо у вас є якісь запитання, напишіть, будь ласка, в коментарях, і я запишу окреме відео з відповідями на ваші запитання. На жаль, у мене немає можливості записувати відео і українською, і англійською, але я можу робити такі спеціальні випуски для вас з відповідями на ті запитання, які вас цікавлять. Я сподіваюся, що це буде хорошим рішенням для усіх. Дякую вам дуже за ваші вподобайки і підписки. Побачимося наступного разу. So that was a little message for my Ukrainian speaking followers. Thank you so much for everyone, and see you in the next episode. Bye.